of a motherhood lived in love. Amen.
This is Doug Keck. I'll be talking with another important Catholic author on EWTN's Bookmark Saturday afternoon, 4:30 Eastern on EWTN Radio.
EWTN, helping you make room for God to work in your life this Advent.
This is an EWTN News Link. I'm Tom Price. A majority of Catholic voters in the United States have a favorable opinion of President Donald Trump and support the broad-scale deportation of immigrants who are in the country illegally. That's according to a new poll published by EWTN News and Real Clear Opinion Research. Trump won the Catholic vote in the 2024 election last year, and one of his campaign promises was mass deportations, a policy strongly opposed by the country's Catholic bishops. With Trump administration deportation efforts underway, the poll revealed some tension between the public stance of the country's Catholic bishops and the views held by the faithful. Among Catholics, support for large-scale deportations is even higher than their overall support for Trump. For more news with a Catholic perspective, visit EWTNnews.com. Take Two with Jerry and Debbie starts now.
Hello there, and welcome to your show, Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. I'm Debbie Georgiani, and Jerry is hopefully going to be joining us shortly. And this is the feast day of Our Lady of Guadalupe. I hope everybody is excited as we are. What an amazing feast day, and so many pilgrims going to honor Our Lady today, going to Mass, going to adoration in Mexico City. It's just booming. I mean, everything is just amazing for Our Lady today, and that's what we're going to be talking about, our spiritual mother, how she cares about us. So we wanted you to share the stories of your relationship with our Blessed Mother. Okay, I'm going to share one when I was baptized. That's correct. So please, you got to share your stories and shout it to the world how you love Our Lady. And let's make this virtual kind of pilgrimage together where we are honoring Our Lady. We know that all of heaven is watching, and on this feast day of Our Lady of Guadalupe, you know, when Our Lady appeared in 1531, and because of that, to Juan Diego, who's now Saint Juan Diego, and actually I go to the parish that I go to is called Saint Juan Diego. I love that, and I'm going to Mass right after the show. I'm jumping in the car and heading to Mass. It's so incredible how her appearance prompted 9 to 10 million conversions. Think about that. Think about that, Our Lady of Guadalupe. And then if we wanted to talk about the apparition site at Tepeyac Hill and what she said to Juan Diego, if we want to talk about the tilma, if you want to talk about just the miraculous sense of this whole entire apparition, then please do it for this show. There goes the phone lines. Here's the number, 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. We need Our Lady of Guadalupe more than ever, guys, and it's so important that we share how we have gotten so close to our spiritual mother. Remember when she appeared to Juan Diego, she said, "I'm your mother." And that's for all of us. She says, "I love you." That's for all of us. She says, "I hear your pleas. I understand your tears. I don't want you to be upset and worried about things. I am here for you." That's for all of us. And she is. She truly is. She fits in beautifully to our spiritual life. Let's talk about how you have an incredible relationship with our spiritual mother just by calling 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. And you don't have to be Catholic to call in, okay? The Blessed Mother is your spiritual mother as well. So please call in if you would like to add something to this discussion. We're going to get to our first caller in just a second. I just wanted to share this because it's so important. Remember, I shared that if you email us, take2@EWTN.com, We read everything. It becomes a little bit difficult for us to respond to everyone, but we read everything. And we also get all the messages that come into EWTN. So I'll give you an example. Jane from yesterday, from Florida, first-time caller. Jane called in, contributed to the show, but then she called back on the EWTN comment line. She said, hey, can you put Bob and me in the book? And we said, absolutely. So Jane, we got your message, and it came right through to us. So I got Bob and Jane in the prayer book. And thank you, Jane, for being a first-time caller. And Jane had some nice comments. She says she loves Take Two. Well, we love you, Jane. Thank you so much. So Bob and Jane are in the prayer book. See how it works? So we get all the messages. Okay, beautiful day today. Our Lady of Guadalupe feast day. So powerful. Please make sure you contribute to this episode. Let's go to Maria, first-time caller from Bryan, Ohio, listening on Annunciation Radio, has a comment for us. Hi, Maria.
Hi, thank you so much for taking my call.
Thank you. Go right ahead.
Okay, so I just want to share, I was actually baptized on the eve of the Feast of the Assumption, so it was August 14th, and that was just a coincidence. Mm-hmm. But because of that, I've always felt a connection to Our Lady, and then it turned out I was confirmed in December, on December 8th.
Wow.
And then when I thought about it, I also realized that my parents' anniversary is on the Feast of Our Lady of the Miraculous Medal. So I just definitely see Mary's touch in my life, mm-hmm. and she's been such an important part of my devotions and my meditation. So that's really all I wanted to share, but I just thought it was really remarkable.
So now, is Maria your real name, or is that a name you picked for the show? Is Maria your birth name?
That's actually a name I picked for the show.
Oh, you picked for the show. Okay, yeah. Okay, yes. Beautiful. But wow, do you have a connection with Our Lady? And absolutely, I don't believe there's any accident. I really don't. I think the Lord puts all the puzzle pieces for us out there, and then we need to put them all together. And you understand so well how much Our Lady has played a part in your life right from the very beginning. And so I put you in the prayer book, Maria, and my prayers for you are continued blessings and a deep relationship with Our Lady, because she's holding your hand. She's going to take you, you stay faithful. She's going to take you right to her son. And I love that. So God bless you, Maria. Thank you for sharing with us a beautiful story of your baptism and confirmation and your parents. Did you say their anniversary? That was their anniversary. I want to put that in the book too.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Very nice. Very
nice.
So
I have a strong devotion to Our Lady of the Miraculous Medal, partly because of that. I actually had the devotion before I even made the connection. And then I have one more quick thing, is that I have a strong devotion to Our Lady of Perpetual Help. And it's partly because on her feast day, which is June 27th, I had a travel mercy that I really needed. And it just so happened that the prayer was answered really miraculously, I felt. And then I noticed what feast day it was. So because of that, those are kind of, a little more than 6 months apart, those two feast days, the Miraculous Medal and Perpetual Help. So I've done the Marian consecration sometimes twice a year on both of those days, but I've repeated it several times.
Wow. Amazing. Wow. I just wanted to ask you this real quickly before we let you go. It sounds like you might be, you just had a very, you wanted to contribute to start the show, but I want to just ask you this. Do you have any statues or icons or anything of Our Lady that is near to you in your home or outside, maybe in a Mary garden, anything of that nature? Because honestly, Maria, it sounds like the relationship you have is very tight, and Our Lady may have you thought about Our Lady asking you to maybe do something? I'm just putting it out there. Actually, Maria, if you can hold, because we've got to get to this break. We've got other callers coming in. Stay with me. I just want to get your response when I come back. The number to really talk about our spiritual mother and how she cares about us is 833-288-3986. Please join us.
Celebrate a nun like no other. Join us in honoring EWTN's beloved foundress, Mother Angelica, and her remarkable life, words, works, and remembrances. Visit EWTN.com/Mother Angelica today.
Want to be notified when Take Two with Jerry and Debbie goes live on Facebook? Follow EWTN Radio's Facebook page and click on the bell icon to be notified.
Another weekend means a stop at Podcast Central.
But I came to realize that that's not true at all. And I've come increasingly to realize that, in fact, I've always been interested in it.
Yeah, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. You just say, like, Jeff, I have such a better setup than you.
I make more than you. If I was a married man with 7 kids.
Right. I'm XPK, inviting you to join me for Catholics Coast to Coast tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio.
EWTN Religious Catalog has great gift suggestions for Advent and Christmas. The Story of All Stories is the Catholic story Bible you've been waiting for. Help your kids fall in love with Scripture with this beautiful, faithful resource for children ages 7 to 13, designed to fill young readers with wonder and excitement for the Bible. It's one of many great gift suggestions for Advent and Christmas from EWTN Religious Catalog. For more, visit EWTNRC.com today.
We're talking all about our spiritual mother today on our feast day of Our Lady of Guadalupe, and I'm speaking with Maria in Bryan, Ohio. She's going to stay with us. I want to get her comment because I just with all the, what do you call it, God incidences, I don't think they're coincidences. I think God is really showing himself with Maria and her life, even from her baptism, confirmation, the devotion to the miraculous medal. I mean, it goes on and on. I'm wondering if Our Lady is asking her something or having a tighter relationship, if you will, for a reason. So I want to get Maria's comment in just a moment. But Maria, hold on. Our Lady of Guadalupe olive wood ornament. I just want to highlight this for everybody. EWTN Religious Catalog has a line of olive wood ornaments made and finished in Bethlehem by a family that has been in business since 1925 from Bethlehem. Wow. One style in the collection is Our Lady of Guadalupe. After nearly 2-year process of preparing the olive wood, it is cut and sanded to a smooth finish. A UV printing machine adds a vibrantly colored image with exquisite detail to each piece of wood. The last step is adding a gold string for hanging. This ornament is 2.5 inches by 3 inches and comes with a certificate of authenticity. For other designs, visit EWTNRC.com and search olive wood ornaments. It's available now at EWTNRC.com. Free standard shipping for online orders $75 or more. Standard shipping is for the continental U.S. only. Use code FREE at checkout. Love, love, love the religious catalog. Okay, Maria, I'd love to hear your comment. Have you ever asked Our Lady what she's kind of maybe thinking for you or requesting for you?
That's a good question. I have sometimes wondered, I'm single, and I've sometimes wondered if it's either religious life or even consecrated virginity, which I've sort of been exploring more recently because it's sort of new to me. But I do feel really called to be in the world in some ways. But I also, I have kind of made my bedroom at my house almost into like a little, almost feels like a little shrine or chapel. It's sort of decorated kind of like a church in a way. And I do have several statues and then a really beautiful painting of Our Lady in the room as well.
Okay. See, all right. So I just want to be there as a confirmation of that, because as you were speaking, I did not know that you were single, didn't know it. And it kept coming to me, vocation. So just wanted you take that for what it's worth, and when you take it to prayer. But I feel that Our Lady is staying very close to you for a specific reason. So, and the fact that you turned your home into that kind of sanctuary, that shrine, that is another confirmation. So, wow, Maria, I think you got some really cool things ahead of you, and please keep us posted. I put you in the prayer book so that it goes according to God's will. Okay.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Keep us posted. That's very exciting. You know, our Lord is so amazing. He's so incredible, and he uses his mother in such amazing ways for all of us. So Maria, you're awesome. Thank you so much for being first up here on Take Two. Okay. Maria's going to free that phone line, and I'd like you to fill it. If you have something to say, no, I'm going to say something to shout to the world about Our Lady, your spiritual mother. Okay, this is the feast day of Our Lady of Guadalupe. You can talk all about that. You can talk about the apparition. You can talk about Juan Diego. You could talk about the conversions, the tilma, the image, anything you want to talk about that. But I'd like to hear your personal relationship with Our Lady and how you know that she cares for you. 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. That's the number to call. You don't have to be Catholic to call in. Please dial the number quickly. I want to get everybody on air during this beautiful feast day. And let's go to Mary next in Clinton, Iowa, on Sirius XM 130. Hi, Mary. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi. You go right ahead.
Well, in 1952, when my mother was pregnant with me, she started to hemorrhage, and I was only 7 months. And my father, who's a religious man, went in the phone booth and prayed to the Blessed Mother, if you spare the life of my wife and my child, I'll name her after you. Mm-hmm. And the plan was that I was going to be named Carmela after his mother. He was a, good Sicilian son. Mm-hmm. But anyway, the prayer was answered, and my name is Mary Angela, after Mary, Queen of Angels. And I've always felt a special relationship to the Blessed Mother, and also almost a burden to society that my life was spared for a reason. Mm. And I feel like I did do a lot of things that were good. I have 6 children, and I'm a retired physician, all by the grace of God to have gotten all that stuff done in my life. Now I like to sew, and I just this week was in communication with the parish priest, and I'm going to learn how to sew vestments. And on my bucket list is to embroider a picture, 8x10 picture of the Blessed Mother of Guadalupe, because I have a heart for the unborn.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Mary, I love your story. I love how your dad, your beautiful father, stepped out and really said, please, I'm asking you, really help. I want my wife and my child to live, and then you went on to, obviously he stayed true to his promise, right? So you're named Mary. I love your middle name. So Mary, like after Mary, Queen of Angels, beautiful, very powerful. You know how I feel if you listen to the show about the angels. But Mary, you went on to have a big family, and you went into the medical profession and in helping other people. So yeah, you look at God's plan for each and every one of us, the purpose and plan. He has something very unique for each one of us, and he wants us to accomplish that. He wants us to be able to live it out in such a way and continue. And like you're doing now with the work that you're doing with the vestments and things of that nature, you're continuing contributing to building up the kingdom, to building up the body of Christ. I think it's huge. And that's why when people say, I don't know what my purpose is, I don't know if I'm really supposed to be here, or I don't know what his plan is, it's so unfortunate, because and that's why to take it to deep prayer. Now, you were granted, I think, from the get-go, right from the beginning, when you being born, that your dad had made this agreement and entered into it through prayer. So it's so beautiful when you see lives that really understand that we're all meant to be here, and we're all meant to accomplish something for the Lord. So I just say kudos to you, Mary. Thank you for all the fine work you have done and you continue to do.
And thank you for your show. I do listen to it. I only recently got a new car and have Sirius, so I haven't listened that long, but I do benefit from hearing the topics you discussed and people that call in. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. Stay in touch, Mary. Thank you so very much. I appreciate the call today on this feast day of Our Lady of Guadalupe. God bless you and have a beautiful rest of your Advent. Wow, another great call. So we had Maria, who was first from Ohio, and then Mary from Iowa. Now I need you to weigh in on this. Did you love Our Lady? Do you think she loves you? You really should feel that way. You should know that because she's there for all of us. She's our spiritual mother and she cares about us. Look at what she said to Juan Diego. Okay, she said, I'm your mother. I love you. I care about you. When you cry, I hear you. I understand your pain. I feel your tears. She gets it. She's our spiritual mother. Do you feel close to her? Do you want to get closer to her? Do you want to start to understand her very key role in your spiritual life? Call in. Let's talk about it. 833-288-EWTN. That's 833-288-3986. Okay, we're going to move to Kelly. Kelly's in Michigan on Ave Maria Radio. Hi, Kelly. Welcome.
Hi. Thank you. I'm a first-time caller.
Oh, thank you.
I really love
so
your
much.
show and your passion for God's people. So thank you for that.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, you go right ahead.
Okay, so our family has been going through what I could only call a horrific trial for the past several years. And God has told us it's the trial of Job. You just have to get through it. And so he has really put front and forth his mother. And there were two things that really stood out to me when you had started this program today is one night I had a dream, and it was an image of the Blessed Virgin Mary, and she had her arms like in the Our Lady of Miraculous Medal stretched out all over the world, and he said, "Behold the Blessed Virgin Mary. She is my finest creation. She has passed every test, and she has every grace. She is the humiliation of the devil. That is why I want everything to pass through her hands."
Wow.
And so he just gave me like the summary of, like what we're supposed to do during this trial. And then through another one, the Lord sent us a dream on that we should wear the scapulars because he had shown me that I had survived some horrific fall off a cliff in a dream. And as I got out of the car saying, how could I have survived? I heard a voice speak from above, knowing it was the Lord, and he said that no matter where you go in the world, no matter what you face, you will be protected through the hands of the Blessed Virgin Mary. You are in her mantle because of the scapular. And I just think these revelations are for, like, obviously everybody, right? I mean, it's truth. And she's our mother. Revelation 12:17 says she's our mother. And he's just sent us such a great gift in her.
Kelly, can I make a suggestion? You can take it or leave. You can take it or leave it. I just want to throw this in there because I'm on a roll today. I can feel it. Have you thought about putting a book together, like a meditation book, and some of the things that you feel very strongly about? Why are you chuckling?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I just sent a note to our spiritual director, and I said the Lord wants me to put together all these novenas for the Blessed Virgin Mary to bring souls closer to her. Thank you. Praise the Lord. Thank you for that confirmation, because I was saying to the Lord, I don't know, is this going to fail? Should I even do it?
No.
This is total confirmation for me.
Yeah.
Thank you, Debbie.
Yeah, it was clear as a bell as you were talking. In fact, I can feel the Holy Spirit. It was so clear. I mean, crystal clear. Just like see, this is the way God uses the radio. He's using the radio to reach every one of us. I mean, and it's so brilliant of him. I love him so much that he is taking the time to use the radio to touch each and every one of us. It's just like with Maria's call, our first caller. I had no idea she was single, but it kept coming to me, vocation, 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 vocation. And so it's God's way of saying, say vocation. So I said vocation, and then Maria said vocation. There's the confirmation. And same thing with when you were talking, all I could see was a book. That's all I could see as you were talking. And so so praise be to God that he's using the radio to connect all the dots for us. I love it. So God bless you in your ministry work that you're going to put that together. I'm just going to go out there. I'll be bold. When you said it's, if it's going to work or not, of course it's going to work, because if it's God's will, it'll definitely work.
Amen. Yeah. Amen.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. Thank you. What a blessing. So thank you.
Thank you on this beautiful feast day of Our Lady of Guadalupe. I love it. Thank you so much, and keep us posted. We want to know all the details of it as it gets finished. What a wonderful, and thank you for being a first-time caller. We appreciate it. Now call us definitely again. Stay in touch with us. We're a family, so we like to stay in touch. So thank you, Kelly. Okay, I'm going to get to Matt driving through Tennessee, but I just got an alert on my phone that one of you who's watching, I'm sorry, on social media, I'm waving to you. You know who you are. Said, "Are you going to share how you're close to Our Lady?" Well, I didn't realize it until I was about 25, 30 years old. My mother told us, and then I confirmed it with my family. My uncle, I talk about my uncle all the time, who was a diocesan priest. His name was Father Sylvester Lavolsi. He was he was very close with Father Benedict Rochelle. In fact, he was his mentor. It was just they were very close. But anyway, my uncle, when he baptized all of us and my family, he would immediately consecrate us to the Blessed Mother. So I didn't know that. But when I was a small child, I always felt close to the Blessed Mother, just naturally. Now, my mother was very close to the Blessed Mother. And my grandmother's name was Mary. And I mean, it goes, everybody was, we had a very strong Marian connection in our family. But I had this weird kind of interior, like I feel even closer than I should. And I realized later in life that it was my uncle that consecrated all of my brothers and sisters to the Blessed Mother at baptism. So that's why I will do anything for Our Lady, because I just feel so strongly. And that's why I love when I hear that priests are very devoted to Our Lady. You know, Marian priests, I'm very drawn to them and their ministry work because they have a certain element to their priesthood that is very different. It's very unique, and I love that. So, okay, so now you all know the background story of Debbie G. Okay, let's go to Matt. Let's say hello to Matt before I get to the break, because he's driving. I just want to make sure he stays with us. Driving through Tennessee on the EWTN app. Now, Matt, I'm going to go to break in 30 seconds, but I just wanted to say hello so you could keep driving and hold through the break, okay?
I'll be here.
Oh, okay, good. Okay, so we're going to put you back on hold. Thanks, Matt, because I wanted to get to you next. And then we'll get to Ryan from Walla Walla, Washington. Everybody knows how I love saying Walla Walla. I just love it. So we'll get to Ryan and the others coming in. But we do have an open phone line if you'd like to call in, talking about our spiritual mother and how she cares about each and every one of us individually and collectively. She's our mother. On this feast day of Our Lady of Guadalupe, don't you just want to shout it to the world? Well, make this program, make this episode the one you do just that by calling 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. When I come back, I'm going to go straight to Matt, who's driving through Tennessee, and the others. Please, let's talk about Our Lady today.
This is a Did You Know moment with Sandra McDevitt. Did you know the early church took care to record the names and dates of the martyrs? These martyrs were the heroes of the church, and their names and dates of execution were carefully recorded by each local community. In larger cities like Rome, a notary was appointed to observe and record all Christian executions. Their names were read at divine services and inscribed on tablets. Their burial sites were also noted. That is why we have today the list of martyrs in the Eucharistic prayer, such as John, Stephen, Matthias, Peter, Perpetua, Felicity, Agnes, and so forth. Groups of Christian martyrs recorded in the Roman era take 129 pages, most names not familiar to us today. Proof the early church took care to record their heroes. I'm Sandra McDevitt for EWTN Radio.
Dr. Ray is celebrating Christmas and offering tips to help you stay focused on Christ during the Christmas holidays. Saturday afternoon, 3 Eastern on EWTN Radio.
EWTN, teaching the truth.
I am from Kenya and I went to Rome to study communication. When the university asked me if I was willing to go to the EWTN, I was more than willing. EWTN for me is a Catholic voice for all. The message that it transmits concerns humanity, and it approaches life from an integral point of view that touches every human soul that has got the urge for perfection.
Hi, this is Cy Kellett. Join us later today on Catholic Answers Live as we do our best to explain and defend the Catholic faith. Catholic Answers Live, 6 p.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio. Now back to Take Two with Jerry and Debbie.
Okay, we're talking about our spiritual mother today on the feast day of Our Lady of Guadalupe. We do have an open phone line for you if you'd like to share something special about your relationship with Our Lady, the Blessed Mother. Please call in 833-288 EWTN 833-288-3986. Before I get to Matt, let me just do a congratulations and shout out to another EWTN radio partner, KTDC, serving Muscatine, Iowa. Muscatine, Iowa, is celebrating 22 years with us this week. Congratulations to Joseph Flanders and his great team at Triumph of the Heart Radio. I love that. From your friends here at EWTN, that's Muscatine, Iowa. I love that. Okay, 22 years. Wow. Think how many souls that they have touched in 22 years. Matt, driving through Tennessee, you're back on air with us. Hi, Matt.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. Can you tell I love this feast day? This is like one of my favorite feast days. I just love it. I can't wait to get to Mass. I'm just so excited. So yes, you go right ahead. You're driving. I hope do you have us on hands-free?
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
yeah. You go.
So it's ironic that that I picked up on this because I drive around the state of Tennessee doing stuff, and so I just went to lunch and I was listening to another Catholic radio station, and sometimes I'm listening to apps and stuff like that, and I said I want to listen to Debbie again. So I just turned you on and just started talking about Our Lady. And then I realized it's the feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe. And so the last time I called was during COVID. So, everybody else was shut down, but I had the permission to drive around the state to do inspections. Mm-hmm. And so I told you a story about my miraculous conversion back in 2016. After and during, I was doing the consecration to Jesus through Mary. Mm-hmm. So then this past Monday, I finished my 8th time doing my consecration. And then Wednesday is like I teach 5th graders religious education on Wednesday. And I told them, I said, this is my favorite lesson. And I said, I make this lesson all myself, and I call it the faces and names of Mary. So I started out telling about Immaculate Conception, and then I told the whole story about Our Lady of Guadalupe and all the miracles and all of the amazing things about that. I finished with another 20, images and the Feast of Mary. But when I was telling them about Our Lady of Guadalupe, you never saw such open eyes and not a peep in the room, which is pretty unusual for a 5th grader, I tell you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so, a large portion of my class is Hispanic, and that's how I started my devotion to Our Lady of Guadalupe about 3 years ago, something like that. And they just eat it up. It's just amazing. I just love it so much. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you feel very comfortable talking about Our Lady. You feel very comfortable teaching about Our Lady, correct?
Yes, very much so. In fact, I wrote this lesson myself, and I've adjusted it each of the last 3 years, and I do it by heart, pretty much, mm-hmm. because of the fact that, and I'm not the type that recites, chapter and verse, except when I'm doing a speaking engagement or something, I do. But with the kids, just 5th graders, they just gloss over when I do that. But when I just, hop up animated with them, they are just so enthralled by that story. This is my favorite story to hear for them. So
yeah. Well,
it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And Matt, you know what I love about what you're doing? And Jerry just joined us. And Jerry, we're speaking with Matt driving through Tennessee, and he was talking about his love and his devotion to our Blessed Mother and teaching about the Blessed Mother to young minds. And Matt, what I love about when men teach, when men preach, when men express their love for the Blessed Mother, it has an impact like you will not ever believe. I am telling you this from being 25 years in religious education. When I would have the men catechists, when I would have the priests or the deacons, and they would talk about Mary, the kids would absorb it at levels that were just unbelievable. You couldn't describe it. And it would stay with the young folks a lot longer. Because I think as a woman, it's easy for me to talk about another woman, right? And it's easy for me to do that. But when a man speaks about Our Lady the way you just showed your love and devotion to Our Lady, it has an impact on who you share that with. I just want to thank you so much, Matt. That's why I love Marian priests so much, because when you hear them talk about Mary, you can feel the love coming from them. It is so incredible. Jerry's in seminary, so Jerry is so devoted to Our Lady. So, Jerry, what do you think about all this idea of men really getting out there like Matt and sharing and teaching about Our Lady?
I think it's fantastic, Matt. Thanks for doing that. And I can speak, from the perspective of someone who, God willing, is going to be ordained to the priesthood in about 2.5 years. I wouldn't even try doing this without having not only a strong devotion to Mary myself, but also promoting that and encouraging others to have that as well. In fact, we were talking about that in my modern church history course just this morning. What can we do to be closer to Jesus and Mary? And I obviously mentioned, consecration, total consecration to Jesus through Mary, and of course the consecration to St. Joseph as well. But yeah, Mary is a lot of times we sort of had this perception of Mary as being this softie, and she is a soft, loving, gentle, tender mother, but Mary also does battle for us. She's the woman who crushes the serpent's head. That's right. So we need to remember that part of her as well. It's very much a man's thing. I definitely would say that, Debbie and Matt. Absolutely.
I totally agree. And before you go, Matt, share with Jerry how many times you've done the consecration.
Well, I've done 8 times. In fact, I taught the last class. And in just the comments I got after when I did the class, it's just amazing. But the first time I did it in 2016, I really had just miraculous things happen to me. And since then, I've done adult education, a men's prayer group, men's retreat, and I've taught adult education in speaking about devotion to Mary. Guess what? I did many of the Marian courses, like the biblical, the biblical focus of Mary in the Bible and stuff like that. So it's well received, especially with those that are converted from Protestantism, and they ask me questions to this day. Like, what about this? What about this? I was thinking about this. In fact, my godson ran into a Protestant down in Florida, so he called me just this week, and he says, I need to talk to him about Mary. What do I do? And I just, off the top of my head, I just told him this, and yes, I got a devotion to Mary.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's beautiful. Matt, did you say that group that you were teaching, were those 5th graders?
No, I taught adult education too. I'm not teaching any right now because I got health issues and stuff like that. But,
okay. What was the youngest age? What was the youngest age in the classroom that you've been a catechist in?
Oh, they're all 5th graders. The catechist is all 5th graders.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. That is awesome. Matt, you are that is incredible. You are so great at that. I love the way you speak about it. It's so part of you, because I do believe it. You had that absolute transformation from the consecrations. Absolutely. Matt, that's awesome. Way to go.
Well, just let me give you one kudos. I started my first endeavor into catechist after I spoke with you and Jerry during COVID. Right after COVID, I just started it up.
Wow. Okay, cool. Thank you. Wow.
God.
Yeah, we're so glad. We feel like we're part of your ministry.
Yeah.
Yes, and like I said, it's just like a little bit of a miracle that I just, that I'm changing the station right now.
As I like to say, Matt, I guess maybe we have our fingerprints are on your ministry a little bit there, and what a blessing that is. And keep it up, Matt. Go ahead.
I've always felt that about the two of you, and even though it was
Thanks,
That's
Matt.
very kind of you. Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, thanks so much.
We appreciate it. Okay,
Yeah.
safe driving. You got your angel beside you, your guardian angel. Thanks, Matt. Check in with us again, definitely. Now, Jerry, we had Ryan on the line from Walla Walla, Washington. You know how I love saying Walla Walla, Washington. Now, Ryan dropped off. So, Ryan, if you're still listening, I saw the comments here, and I believe you are a Lutheran, and you were asking questions about the Blessed Mother. Ryan, can we suggest a book for you that we think you will absolutely love? Behold Your Mother. Behold Your Mother by Tim Staples from Catholic Answers. Ryan, if you're still listening, please pick up that book. You will not regret it. It is a fantastic book, and it will answer all of your questions. Tim Staples did a fabulous job. He's a Catholic apologist for Catholic Answers, and it's Behold Your Mother, right, John?
And a convert, too. He's a convert.
And a
to
convert,
Catholicism.
yeah. Yeah.
All right, so we're taking your calls today on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie about our Blessed Mother, how she cares for you, your relationship with her, your devotion to her. Have you made the consecration to Jesus through Mary? How has that changed your life? What would you like to share? It's your show, Take Two Family, 833-288-EWTN, 833-288-3986. And up next is John, who's calling from Elk Creek, Virginia, listening on Sirius XM 130. Hello, John. Thanks for waiting.
Hi, Jerry. Hi, Debbie. I just wanted to share with you that I used to be I had a great devotion to Our Lady of Fatima, and where I lived in New Jersey, we had First Friday and First Saturday devotions, and we rotated churches throughout the diocese. And I love the devotion. It started usually at 9 o'clock with a Mass to the Sacred Heart, and then to 3 o'clock in the morning with a Mass to the Immaculate Heart of Mary. And so as time went on, many years I was doing this, I was able to buy my first house. And so when the house came in, it was one that I could afford. It came to my mind as soon as I did get the house. It was 13 May Boulevard was the address of all things. And then as time went on, the statue, as they had for the area, sort of had some time off. And one of the people I knew at that time at the church, they said, "Would you like to take her home with you?" And so he brought it over to and set it up, and so I converted my dining area into a little chapel with her there. And it was such an honor. I can't even tell you how it was. It was just a statue, but it was the devotion to her was so strong for me that it was like every time I walked by the chapel, that her eyes were following me everywhere. And as it turned out, then I went forward from there and decided to become a Third Order Carmelite. And while I was a Third Order Carmelite, one time on a retreat with the priest, I had this I was saying the rosary in my bed waiting for a friend of mine, and I looked up and it was this blue cloud that appeared up on the ceiling in front of me, and I was continued praying the rosary, and it was an image, and it was a circle, and in the circle I saw old people looking down at me, and there was one image which looked like a veiled woman. You couldn't make out the faces, and a veiled woman in the circle. So that led me to my vocation. I wound up going to a Trappist monastery up in New York, Our Lady of Genesee, and of all things, they had a circular what would you call it, a
sanctuary?
Anyway, it was a circular area, and the monks were all around it. And and on my journey to try to get there, I had to sell my house, and I couldn't sell my house. And so what happened was that I had to go back to work, and as I went back to work, there was a man there who had been 30 years away from the church. I didn't know that. And so the Holy Spirit brought him. We conversed, and after a couple of weeks, he came back to the church. And as soon as he came back to the church, his wife threw a party for him to be back. I went back home, and I fell on my knees, and it said my house is going to sell. I had sold for like almost a year. And all of a sudden, somebody came in and bought my house, everything in it, and I was off with a suitcase to the monastery.
Oh,
and then I was in the monastery through my novitiate when I was out on what they call a hermitage. I got this invitation to come and try to start a hermitage in honor of Mary, and my abbot, instructed me of what to do, and I went out. I started a place called EWTN Hermitage, and the thing is, I was just renting from place to place, and all of a sudden, one day, I walked on the property, and I got the inspiration of the Holy Spirit that this is where it's going to be. And I only had $50 to my name. Well, as it turned out, it was paid for. This was February, and was totally paid for by October.
Oh my.
And as everything went on, because I needed to get a building up, and it's a building up, and as time went on, it was like maybe 6 years or so. I told Our Lady when I got on the property, if she wanted me to have the property and do all this, that I'm going to build her. We had a spring with a concave area where somebody had built in like a little alcove, that I would set up an area there for her in honor of her if we were to get the property. And of course, we wound up getting it, and so I owed her that. And as time went on, we wound up getting the building built, and so I was living more or less the eremitical life.
John, just for the sake of time, John, if you can.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. Anyway, that was the story. Is that with all this property now, I'm 84 years old, and I'm turning it over all to the church. It's a big area. Know, it's got lots of water and things like that, and the building is there. It's totally monastic building. For a small monastic group, and hoping maybe sisters or some brothers would like it from an order. But anyway, that's my story, and it's just wonderful. I'm so attached to Our Lady, and I spread the devotion to her.
It's an amazing story, John, and thank you for sharing it. And, it just goes to show when Our Lady wants something done, she will get it done. We know that from today's feast, the Feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe, when she wanted that church built on Tepeyac, and, Juan Diego was to tell the bishop about that, and Our Lady made sure that happened. And, a friend of mine used to say all the time, what the lady wants, the lady gets.
Lady gets.
And so... John, thank you. Bless you. We'll be praying for that. We hope that will flourish with the intercession of our Blessed Mother and the graces of our Lord Jesus Christ. John, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Going to get to Melissa and then Father King, so hang on, the two of you. I just want to mention Witness to Providence tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, the annual Mother Angelica Award. Who will be the recipient this year? You can celebrate the spirit of our founder and see who most embodies her love of Jesus and the ideals and characteristics of an apostle of the new evangelization. That's tonight, 8 Eastern Time on EWTN Radio and television. Okay, Melissa, I've been waiting patiently in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, listening on Real Presence Radio. Hi, Melissa.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thank you. So I just kind of have a question, comment, I guess, in general. I have grown up Catholic my entire life, and my husband and I did a Marian consecration the day before we got married in October of 2013,
Wonderful.
Or not October, August of 2013. And for many, many, many years, I have 3 little kiddos. I've been trying to draw closer to Mary, and I feel like there's such a great disconnect between me and the Blessed Mother. And in my spiritual direction for the past 2 years, my spiritual director has just, continued to encourage me to reach out to Mary and to talk to Mary. And just the other day she had mentioned, have you ever asked Mary to take you into her womb and, bear you as her child? And I was like, whoa, that's really deep and really scary. And she's like, just talk to her about that if that's something you should do. And I feel like I just somehow have this great disconnect between my head and my heart. And I know it's such a journey, but I wish that I felt as close to Mary as my children do, and as my brother-in-law, Father Ben Haddard, she passed away in October from the Diocese of Duluth. He had such a great devotion to our Blessed Mother, and I think him being in heaven now has really helped to encourage my faith and my desire for the Blessed Mother. And I'm just wondering, how do you continue to invest in that when you feel so distant from her still, just completely, you're not with her? Even though I know she's there and I have that image of Jesus, he's given me that image before, just in Scripture of, behold your mother. And I know she is, but I feel so disconnected.
Well, I would say, this spiritual director gave you a very good suggestion. Like you said, it's deep, it's profound. It maybe is a little bit scary for you, but I would say, in anticipation of that, Melissa, definitely open up the Gospel of John and turn to chapter 19, where, Jesus is about to die on the cross. And in verse 25, right around John 19:25 through 29, when Jesus says to the beloved disciple, "Behold your mother," Jesus gives us Mary as our mother, and so we need to we can really envision that whole process. We can envision the whole process: being born in her womb, being birthed by Mary, and then being guided by her intercession and her prayers all the way through our lives. So, Debbie, I think Melissa is going to be very profoundly and beautifully surprised.
Yeah, your spiritual director that's pretty amazing and very deep. And Melissa, I would just add something else that just from a practical sense, you said that you're the mom of 3 kids, I believe.
I am, yeah.
Okay. Maybe just talk to our Blessed Mother, bring her in as a mom to mom. You know how when we started having kids, what did we do? We joined other moms groups, and we talked to other moms so freely of the things that are going well in motherhood, things that are maybe difficult, things that are bothering us, things that are annoying us, things that are great, things that we're proud of. Talk to her as another mother. Why do I say that, Melissa? My mom used to do that all the time, and she had the most incredible tight relationship with Our Lady. She would literally just lay everything out on everything, what it was like for her to raise 6 kids. And sometimes we'd be like, "Mom, you're going crazy. You're talking to the Blessed Mother all the time." She goes, "You'll see." She goes, "She's right here. She understands everything. She understands what I'm going through." And I don't know if maybe you can add that to what you're doing, but I would start bringing her into your daily life as a mother, Melissa. Seriously, because it's an amazing relationship when you talk to her mother to mother.
Okay, that sounds doable.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. If I wish my mother was still alive, because she would say, "Melissa, honey, you got to listen to Connie," because my mom used to talk to the Blessed Mother all the time, and the most amazing things, that would happen on her relationship with the Blessed Mother as she was just getting closer, mother to mother. It was incredible. I could tell you miracle stories, Melissa. But keep us posted as you journey with Our Lady and how things start to be revealed to you. We'd love to know. And I put you in the prayer book, okay, Melissa?
Can you please make sure to add my brother-in-law?
Okay, your brother. Do you want to give a first name or no?
Yes, his name is Father Benjamin Hadrich.
Okay. Is everything okay? Okay.
He passed away in October.
Oh
yeah.
He was 41 years old, and he had the most beautiful story from the Diocese of Duluth, and absolutely incredible parents and brothers and friends, and such a holy, holy man.
Okay.
We will definitely pray for that, and for all of his family, your family, everybody who knew him must be really impacting a lot of people, his passing.
Absolutely.
So.
Absolutely.
All right, Melissa, he is in the
Thank you.
prayer book. Thank you so much for letting us have the honor of praying for him.
Mhm.
We got to move quickly to Father Martin King in Portland, Oregon. He listens on Mater Dei Radio. Father, welcome. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing fine, brother. I'm sitting outside of a assisted living facility. I got to go in and do Mass here very shortly. First, I wanted to wish you and Debbie a blessed Advent and a Merry Christmas, and let you know, Jerry, I still pray for you every morning, my morning prayer
Thank you.
for your journey. And I just wanted to share that, I grew up Catholic, and, Mary was part of your academic learning about the Church, so on and so forth, and all the various apparitions of Mary I learned about, but I didn't really have a close relationship or affinity toward Mary until I was studying in Mexico, and I went to the Basilica there in Mexico City, and when I saw the Tillamook itself, something happened. I don't know what to say happened, because I was deeply moved by the fact that as I looked upon that image, I felt Mary looking at me, and it didn't matter where I was standing, where I was moving, when I was underneath. And I'm suggesting anyone who goes to Mexico City, please take time to go down behind the altar. There's a set of escalators down there. Go down behind there and stand beneath, but looking up at it from that view is just miraculous what happened to me.
Got about 30,
then
got about
in
30 seconds.
Okinawa, a Mormon chaplain who I was assigned there with found a wood-carved, I want to say painting, but it's all wood, that someone had discarded, and he knew how important Mary was to her, so he brought it, gave it to me, and there was a piece missing on it, so I had taken it to a framing shop and had it reframed. It is one of the most beautiful images of Our Lady of Guadalupe outside of the Tillamook itself, and it has images of Juan Diego and so on and so forth in it. And so now it hangs in my office all the time. Well, right now it's in front of our ambo at church as we celebrate Our Lady of Guadalupe. And I just wanted to share that with all of you, encourage other people, if you get opportunity to go, please go take a look at this. And Jerry, Debbie, thank you for all that you do. Unfortunately, I have to run, so God bless you.
Thank you,
Have a
Father.
Merry Christmas.
Thank
you, Father.
Father Martin King. We were actually seminary classmates about 30 years ago. I took the long road to the priesthood. God willing, I'll get there. But thank you all. Wonderful show team. Thank you. Fantastic job, as always, by our show team today, and that consists of Matt and Michael and Rich. On Monday, all about relationships here on Take Two with Jerry and Debbie. Until then, have a beautiful and blessed weekend. We will talk to you real soon. God bless.
What's life coaching? Life coaching has been around for many years, helping people with their relationships, careers, health, and finances. With Stand Tall, it's all Christ-centered. We focus on mind, body, and spirit, taking life coaching to a whole new level. At StandTallToday.com, you can meet one of our experienced life coaches. Today is the day the Lord has made. So begin today with a new path for your life at StandTallToday.com.
The Global Catholic Network.
This is EWTN Radio.
This is Veronica Dudo. You're moments away from news headlines from a Catholic perspective on EWTN Radio.
The free ebook, Novena to the Mother of God for the Nation, provides prayer that challenges us to a deeper conversion to Christ and a more generous life of charity. It's available at EWTN.com/novena.
One of the reasons we should go to Mass is because it is the food of the saints that we receive. And for the saints, they understood rightly that the time after Holy Communion, that those moments are the most precious moments of our lives.
The Holy Sacrifice of the Mass, live from the EWTN Chapel, every morning, 8 Eastern, on EWTN Radio and Television.
Suffering is inevitable. We all struggle against enemies much stronger than we are. We fight temptation, sadness, anger, and despair. Sometimes we fight extraordinary illness or personal betrayal. Yet hope dawns even here, especially here where we suffer. Find out more next on Breaking the Bread. John questions Jesus from prison in this week's gospel, for his disciples' sake and for ours. He knows that Jesus is doing the works of the Messiah as foretold in our first reading and psalm, but John wants his disciples and us to know that the judge is at the gate, that in Jesus our God has come to save us. The liturgy of Advent takes us out into the desert to see and hear the marvelous works and words of God. The lame leaping like a stag, the dead raised, and the good news preached to the poor. The liturgy does this to give us courage, to strengthen our feeble hands and make firm our weak knees. Our hearts can easily become frightened and weighed down by the hardships we face. We can lose patience in our sufferings as we await the coming of the Lord. As James advises in this week's epistle, we should take as our example the prophets who spoke in the name of the Lord. Jesus also points us to a prophet, holding up John as a model. John knew that life was more than food, the body more than clothing. He sought the kingdom of God first and foremost, confident that God would provide. John didn't complain. He didn't lose faith, even in chains in his prison cell. He was still sending his disciples, and us, to our Savior. We come to him again now in the Eucharist. Already he is causing the deserts to bloom, the burning sands to become springs of living water. He has opened our ears to hear the words of the sacred book, freed our tongue to fill the air with songs of thanksgiving and praise. Once bowed down, captives to sin and death, we've been ransomed and returned to His kingdom and crowned with everlasting joy. Raised up, we now stand before His altar to meet the one who is to come. Here is your God. This is Scott Hahn for Breaking the Bread.
Breaking the Bread is a production of the St. Paul Center for Biblical Theology. If you'd like to receive written copies of Dr. Hahn's reflections on the Sunday Mass readings, you can contact us by email at staff@salvationhistory.com or call us at 740-264-9535. That's 740-264-9535.
God's blessings to you during this Advent season, and we here at EWTN Radio hope that this is an Advent season that you won't soon forget. More information about the Catholic Church is coming up on Call to Communion with Dr. David Anders at 2 p.m. Eastern.
EWTN, helping you prepare for the celebration of the Incarnation at Christmas.
From EWTN News Nightly, I'm Veronica Dudo with an EWTN News link. The Secretary of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem, testifies on worldwide threats to the homeland today, discussing immigration and the National Guard. This as the Senate is set to vote on extending subsidies for the Affordable Care Act, which is expected to fail. The U.S. has seized an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. Attorney General Pam Bondi saying the ship was involved in illicit oil trade. This as opposition leader Maria Corina Machado safely arrives in Norway after fleeing the country for safety. Pope Leo launches the first ever digital version of the Pontifical Yearbook containing records of the Church's institutions across the world. Carried out by the Dicastery for Communication, it's a step towards modernizing the Church's database of dioceses. I'm Veronica Dudo with EWTN News Nightly. Join us tonight.
The Doctor Is In is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio and carried across the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
I need you to knock some sense into me. I'm sure you can.
Yeah, I don't know. I enjoy listening to you. I don't always agree with everything.
All right, enough of this persiflage.
So, you want my question?
I'm certainly not going to get myself in trouble by telling you what to do.
That makes great sense. Gosh, that's good.
Did I overwhelm you with words and wisdom?
I've got 7 kids. I feel like I could call you every day.
Wait, you're telling me I'm wrong? Disconnect.
Yes, I am, Dr. Ray.
You just need to tune in to Dr. Ray, honey. He's got all the answers.
Am I right or am I right?
Probably.
Now, from the studios of Living Bread Radio Network in Canton, Ohio, the hometown of Mother Angelica, here's Dr. Ray.
Very nice to have your company on The Doctor Is In, a co-production of the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network, some 400 to 500 stations worldwide, Sirius Satellite Channel 130. Like to think that's my cue, but it's been slipping, and I was much, much higher before I had children. Done some studies. I wanted to do this for my dissertation, but I didn't have kids then. But if I were in school now, I could do it. What amount of IQ points does the child take away, the average child take away from the average parent? Now, my gut tells me it's somewhere around 4 to 5 points. And you don't recover those points totally after the kids spread out on their own. There's a certain rebound effect that occurs, but you lose them a lot faster than you regain them. It's kind of like physical fitness. If you stop doing your aerobics for a month, you drop dramatically in your ability. Now, you can get it back, but you do drop. So it's kind of what happens with the kids. Anyway, I'm here at the studio for The Doctor Is In. This is Look Back Friday. This is where we take some calls, and I'm looking at them right now. Looking back at them, play them in some form of their origin. not the whole call usually. And then I embellish the call, talk more about the call, have something to say, add to it. I mean, obviously you could talk a whole show on any given call because this is not therapy here. But there's usually a point or two that I wanted to make, but for whatever the reason I didn't, because the trajectory of the call, what seemed to be concerning the caller most, and it would be a tangent. It would go off to the side, away from the main reason for the call. And the callers pretty much dictate the main reason. So we'll get to those calls. I got a couple of them up there that are back to back. I'm going to take those this first segment. All right, just a quick monologue. If I see a parent and a teenager in my office, what can sometimes happen, especially if the parent is coming in because the teen is rebellious and pushing back against them, the parent will describe something about the home scenario or their expectations for the child. The child might interrupt. No, Mom, that's not it. Why do you always think the way you describe it is the way it is? Then the parent will just go on, look at the child, and then move on and continue to describe. And the child just roll their eyes, huffy sigh. The parent will go on. Somewhat oblivious, somewhat embarrassed. Nevertheless, they continue to move forward, describing the situation. The child says, Mom, that's ridiculous. There's no way that I did that. That's not the way it happened. Now, after about 5 or 6 of these interruptions, I might ask, do you hear how Angelica is talking to you? And the parent will look kind of puzzled, befuddled, as if to say, yeah, but that's how she always talks to me. Yeah, but I didn't think it was that bad. Or, yeah, but isn't that teenagers? I call it the battered parent syndrome. It's been going on for enough time that the parent is oblivious to much of it. Rolling of the eyes, huffy sigh, oh, Mom, get real. Not really considered disrespect anymore. Nobody's throwing chairs or bricks. So therefore, they haven't crossed the line into overt disrespect. Still very disrespectful. But the parent has inured to it. They've habituated to it. They've heard it so much. It's coming from the child so frequently that they just have gotten to the point where they're kind of numb to it. But that's not good. That is not good. It sets up a habit. It sets up a dynamic. It sets up an interplay between the parent and the child. It's really disrespectful. And every parent has their limit. I mean, they may try to tune it out as best they can, but ultimately, it's going to take its toll. So I have to begin to work on what they want to define as disrespect. Because up to this point, it's been going on so long, they don't hear it anymore. It's sort of the way we talk to each other, the way she talks to me. I've gotten used to it. I ignore it. It's not good. It's not good. Battered parent syndrome. Hope you're not falling prey to it because you're being mistreated and maybe you're not even aware of it much of the time. You got to be aware of it before you can start to correct it. I'm Dr. Ray.
Do you own popular index mutual funds or ETFs? If so, you're automatically own shares of companies that conflict with your moral beliefs. Ave Maria mutual funds are managed to conform to pro-life and pro-family values. Long-term investors can invest in the no-load Ave Maria mutual funds. The experienced professional portfolio managers make decisions based on investment fundamentals and pro-life values. You can learn more about Ave Maria Mutual Funds today at 866-AVE-MARIA or visit AveMariaFunds.com.
Ever get asked one of those tough questions like, do Catholics worship Mary? And in that moment, you freeze? Truthfully, the Catholic AI app gives you answers in seconds rooted in scripture, tradition, and the magisterium. Whether you're navigating a tough conversation, deepening your faith, or looking for daily spiritual guidance, Truthfully helps you know, live, and defend the Catholic faith. Truthfully can be found in the Apple App Store or Google Play. That's Truthfully, Trutthly.
Hello, I'm Marianne Kuharski with Pro-Life Across America. Did you know that a billboard can save a baby's life? When our billboards and radio ads are running, we receive hundreds of calls from those seeking pregnancy information and support. Every caller is connected to a local center offering free ultrasound and confidential counseling. Won't you join us in this life-saving effort? Donate today and help us do more. No gift is too small. That's prolifeacrossamerica.org.
Advent is here, and Ave Maria Radio wants to walk beside you every day as we move towards the birth of Jesus. When you visit AveMariaRadio.net, you can join our Advent mission and receive short, powerful, and engaging daily videos that help you enter the mystery of the Incarnation with new clarity and devotion. Go to the slider at AveMariaRadio.net, sign up, and take your place in this joyful journey to the manger.
This is Cy Kellett. Join me for Catholic Answers Live. It's 2 hours dedicated to Catholic apologetics and evangelization. Designed for Catholics and non-Catholics alike, it's your opportunity to hear from and talk with some of the leading apologists and theologians in the church today. You've got questions? We've got Catholic Answers. Catholic Answers Live, weekdays, 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on EWTN Radio.
Thank you for joining me here. The Doctor is in. This particular variant of the program is Look Back Friday. Now, we got a little piggyback of calls here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to play the original call. Well, I'm not playing it. Andrew Kruchek, my producer man's playing it. And then Gail from North Dakota followed up on the same show about that call. So what I'll do is we'll get Andrew to play both of them back to back. And then I'll make my comments on this Look Back Friday. So let's go to Kirk from North Dakota. He's concerned, very concerned about his daughter, who is, what it sounds like, heavily overweight.
I have a daughter that's, well, I love very much. I mean, she's big boned, but she's large, and I would like to find a way to tell her that I would like to help her. I know she's aware of her weight problem, but I just don't know how to approach her without, I would never want to break her heart or offend her. And she's not real soft by any means. She's a tough girl, but still, it just, I'm troubled in how I should approach this, I guess. I'll hang up and listen if that's okay.
No, don't hang up there, Kirk, because I got a bunch of questions that only you can answer. Has she ever said anything to you about being frustrated with her inability? No, she never has.
No, she never said anything to me.
Is she getting larger and larger? Is she gaining more weight with time?
Seems to be. Yep. It appears that way, yeah.
Is it something where she would say, Dad, I'm only carrying a few extra pounds, or is it something where you're looking at somebody that's 100 to 150 pounds overweight?
Well, it's 100 probably, yeah. As I said, she's big boned, but she's definitely too big. And, I mean, she's smart. She's got a master's degree. She's happy. And, you know, maybe just leave it alone, not say anything. But, I mean, it has to affect her.
Well, no doubt does. But the problem is she hasn't conveyed that.
No, she has not come out and said to me, She's not requested any advice or anything.
And as far as you know, she's not done anything like join some kind of club or get dietary fasting or any kind of approach to losing weight, as far as you know.
As far as I know, that's right.
Okay, so there's no signal here that at least overtly she is discontent with her body.
That's true.
See, without that, Kirk, you don't know how she's going to react to this.
No, I don't.
we have.
No, I don't.
It's frustrating me because obesity is a major health risk. It's a major health risk. And what has happened is that there's a cultural narrative that basically says you can't mention it, you can't help anybody with it, you can't do anything about it, even with kids, because it's variously labeled fat shaming. It's variously labeled some kind of bigotry, some kind of bias. So given that, you're in a position where you can't say a whole lot until she starts to say, I'm frustrating, or hey, Dad, I've joined this and that club, or hey, Dad, here's what I'm doing. Hey, Dad, I'm exercising more, whatever it might be. She might simply say to herself, well, I'm just content with the way I am. I don't like it, but I don't dislike it enough to do something about it yet.
Understood.
Yeah. I had a daughter, Kirk, who went to 420 pounds. She was 26. She didn't live at home, and she had other issues, very serious other issues. She's lost 200 pounds.
Great.
She's pretty proud of herself. But at the time she was gaining that weight, there was no way. I mean, she just did not in any way want to hear this. She had to get to a point where she said to herself, "What am I doing to me?" And the irony is, 2/3 of American adults are either overweight or obese or morbidly obese. Now, there's a lot of reasons for this, sedentary, etc. But what's happening is that, I'll give you a small example. You said something. You said she's big boned. She's probably not big boned. Yeah. What tends to happen is as you gain more weight, your body's skeletal structure thickens up. And it looks like you're more big boned. You have bigger forearms, you have bigger calves. Everything proportionately looks like, wow, that person is thick. You must have some heavy bone structure under there. Not likely. If she didn't have a weight problem, what did she look like at age 20? Because what she looked like at age 20 was a grown-up body. And that's probably her ideal weight. I didn't really answer the question. In other words, I kind of implied you don't approach it, but are there ways to approach it? Now, Gail from North Dakota followed up on Kirk's call and shared with me what she did about her daughter in a similar situation.
I have a daughter who's 36, and she has gained a lot of weight. I think she's probably 75 pounds overweight. She's a wonderful girl, smart, beautiful. I was trying to think of a way that I could address the weight situation, and this is what I did, and it worked. I sat her down, told her I wanted to talk to her, and I prefaced it by saying, I love you so much, and you're a beautiful girl. You wear clothes that look very attractive, some things like that. I might have said one other thing. I can't remember that. And then I said, but I'm concerned about your health. I know that when you gain a lot of weight, that you're putting yourself in a situation for more heart disease, diabetes. And in my case, heart disease runs on her father's side of the family, so I mentioned that as well. And she really took it to heart. She was not angry. She was touched that I was concerned about her health and not just saying, hey, you're fat, you need to lose weight. And at any rate, she has now started to work on losing weight. So just want to share that.
Gail, you approached it in a beautiful way. You approached it with health. You said this is a situation of health. This isn't, I'm looking at your physical appearance and saying, you could look a lot better than you do. No, you said, I'm really concerned out of a motherly love for what you could be doing to yourself. And we tried that with a couple of my daughters, and they accepted it like your daughter did. Unfortunately, they didn't do a whole lot about it. But as they've gotten older, they've come to realize, I need to take a real grip on this. But that was a beautiful way to approach it, and you're absolutely right. Obesity is right up there with smoking as a health risk. Right up there.
Yeah.
Because it is so widespread in its effects on the body. So much. The problem, too, is that it's easier to gain it. And once you're 50, 60, 70, 80 pounds overweight, oh, gosh, to lose that, you've really got to embark on not only activity and strength training, but a much different style of eating, both in what you take in and how much you take in. Oh, of course.
Exactly.
I heard a very distressing statistic. Approximately 5% of people who determine to lose a significant amount of weight keep it off.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Now, a lot more people are taking the Ozempic shot, and I know several that have done this, and they've lost massive amounts of weight, 80, 90, 100, 200 pounds. But again, the question becomes, what is the long-term effect of that shot? And that's just starting to come out now. Gail, beautiful approach to your daughter. Tell her to strength train. She's going to have to build up muscle. When you lose weight,
I will.
You're going to lose muscle and fat. So to keep the muscle on, and muscle is a very active metabolic tissue, you keep it because it burns about 50 calories a day just to exist, every pound of muscle. Thanks, Gail. Did you ever see those pictures of Coney Island or baseball games in the stands? Do you notice that the overweight folks are a far smaller fraction of the crowd? And by and large, they're not that heavily overweight, the ones who are. What's different? If you say, well, we're more active, we were more active then, that's a factor. You don't want to look at the calorie counts in some of the things we take in. My producer, Dick Russ, back when he was with Cleveland TV, did an expose on a very well-known buffet place. Now, Dick happens to be sitting in the studio with me here. He's not on the mic, but I'm going to ask him, hey, Dick, what was the calorie count of the average plate full of that place? 9,000 calories. The average person usually is anywhere between 1,800 and 2,400 caloric intake a day to maintain their weight. 9,000. What about the fat content and those things? What were some of the numbers? 3 or 4 days worth of the healthy recommended dose amount of fat, sugar, salt. If you look at I go to a restaurant and I'll look at, say, for example, an entree. If I would order that entree, I'm looking at 2,300 calories just for one meal. That means nothing else that I would take in that day would be allowed, or I would gain weight. And if you gain 1 extra pound a week, that's about 3,500 calories over and above your recommended intake for your age, for your body size, for your sex. 3,500 calories is approximately a pound gain over and above. That only means that's, 500 extra calories a day? Did you ever eat one of those big chocolate chip cookies? Those things are 500 calories. Go to a restaurant and you see these, oh man, they're gorgeous. They're big chocolate chunk cookies, 500 calories. in those things. 1 extra pound a week. In 1 year, you're 50 pounds extra. 2 years, 100. I saw, just today, I saw Robert Kennedy talking with J.D. Vance. And they were talking about the foods we Americans eat. That's clear. We eat bad stuff. We just do. I go to a restaurant, and if I'm with a bunch of people, I watch what they order. Onion rings with French fries, double cheeseburger. And I'm thinking to myself, I would love to have that too. I'd like to eat that stuff. That stuff tastes good. It's got a lot of fat in it. It's got salt in it. The food companies know how to make this stuff. They do. They make it appealing. You got to have it. You want to have it. But we're not in a situation of thousands of years ago where we weren't sure where our next meal's coming from, so we had to load up. We don't have to load up anymore. But it's still there, and it creeps. Sugary drinks will kill you. They'll just flat out kill you. Because in one sugary drink, 12 ounces of a non-diet soda, you got 12 teaspoons of sugar. 12 teaspoons. Well, Dick's in here, he's drinking the Diet Coke. Yeah, but then now they're all coming out with all kinds of stuff regarding aspartame and all the artificial sweeteners and everything. It's like, I'm going to drink diet water, but it doesn't taste as good. See, that's the thing. You know, there's a certain part of us that's spoiled. I like the taste. And interestingly enough, I read an article just recently that said the number one extracurricular activity for pleasure, by far, eating out. Eating out. When I was a kid, there were restaurants. Yeah, you go to restaurants. I go into a nearby commercial area by my house. There's 50, 60, 70, 80 restaurants. And on any given Saturday night, they're all full. They are all full.
Living the Beatitudes with Father Bjorn.
Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted. This strange beatitude reminds us that Jesus is challenging us with his ways to heaven on a new exodus. We're leaving behind the Egypt of this world to find the eternal paradise of heaven. When we tend to think of happiness, we tend to think of it in a self-centered way, a possession of a temporary good or passing fancy. But Jesus is calling us into eternal happiness. And actually, morality is a search for happiness, says Dominican priest Surveys Pink Hairs. We're looking to be happy, and a lot of times we end up at dead-end roads that don't lead us to where we want to go. How can we be blessed when we mourn? In sorrow and difficulty, hardship and cross, we are called closer to Jesus. It's God's fingerprint in our heart reminding us that we're made for eternal happiness. Blessed are those who mourn, for they shall be comforted.
For more about the Beatitudes, visit EWTNRC.com.
Not all sin is equal. Sins can, says the Catholic Catechism, be distinguished in gravity according to their objects, to the virtues they oppose or the commandments they violate. The root of sin lies within man's heart, Jesus declared. For out of the heart come evil thoughts, murder, adultery, fornication, theft, false witness, slander. These, said the Lord, are what defile a man. On the other hand, charity, the source of all good works, also resides in the heart. The gravest of sin, mortal sin, destroys charity in man's heart by a serious violation of God's law. Mortal sin requires three conditions: grave matter, full knowledge of that gravity, and complete consent of the will. Because mortal sin turns man away from God by preferring an inferior good to God, it should be brought to confession. This is Peggy Stanton, and this has been the Order of Malta's Minute with the Catechism.
Started drinking beer on Saturday nights, sleeping in on Sunday mornings, missing Mass, and it just became a pattern and continued. Without God, I don't know where I'd be right now. I know the importance of the Eucharist. I know the importance of the sacraments that I didn't know at a young age. I follow God's will because my desire is to get to heaven. Our lives are rich and full by being members of the church.
If you've been away from the Catholic Church, visit CatholicsComeHome.org.
Thanks for joining me here on The Doctor Is In, the Dr. Ray Guarendi program, Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock Eastern Time. Website, drray.com, DRRAY.com. Bunch of books there if you are interested in parenting or emotions or faith or thinking better. That stuff is there. This is Look Back Friday, so it behooves us to go to Bianca from California. She says, and believe it or not, the experts have weighed in on this stuff. The experts weigh in on everything. When to have another child. And I have read articles where these experts talk about, well, this is the proper amount of time between children so that they are more likely to relate to each other better. And if you go too long, then they can't relate to each other because there's too big a gap between them. But if you go too short, then what happens is your attention is divided. Please. So let's see what Bianca has to say.
Are you a mom of any yet?
I am. I have a 1-year-old boy and a 3-year-old boy.
Well, you know what the society would say. I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but I think everybody around you would say, Bianca, why are you even thinking about having another kid? Come on. You've got 2. They're close together. They're little. What are you doing? Are you getting any of that?
I am. And the main thing, the reason why I'm getting that and even shut down by even, my mother saying, no more kids, Bianca, is because I did have a hard time with postpartum depression with both of my children. And so, family members and friends seeing me go through that, they've said, why would you have another one? And also just the work, the amount of work of 2 toddlers running around and, constantly being needed. And, they ask, why, just wait. And so my question is, well, is it up to me? Should it be up to me? And
who else is it up to, my dear?
Well, now you got me thinking. Now my follow-up is, with what the church believes when it comes to contraceptives, am I sinning by purposely not trying to have a child yet and waiting?
No, not if you're not using artificial contraceptions. The church doesn't say you have to have relations or you're denying a child. No. Matter of fact, natural family planning is very reliable, more reliable even than the pill, in terms of spacing out your pregnancies for good reason. And someone would say, and I think you would have no problem with somebody saying, hey, you got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old here, and you're overloaded and you had 2 times with postpartum depression. Yeah. That's good reason to delay another child, certainly. But if you would say, well, both times my postpartum depression did not last long, and I quickly became a mother who, with all the work involved, I never could believe how these kids would crawl underneath my heart. Is that safe to say?
That is safe to say, on top of the fact that the way I have immersed myself into educating myself and strengthening my faith, it has not happened to where I am now, where I wake up and I wake up before my kids and read the Gospel of Luke, or I'm turning on, this radio instead of regular music. There's all these small decisions that I've been making that I want to add up to. The main big decision is being ready when Jesus comes, and part in that is me leading as a mother. And so that's why I think I'm questioning this whole thing is, well, also if I do go through postpartum again, and let's just say I do, I don't want to live in that fear, because if I live in that fear, then I'm not giving it to God, and then what am I doing? So I kind of go through this whole process of thinking, and I'm led to this questioning myself.
Well, a lot of it comes down to the details on postpartum. In other words, how long did it last? How depressed were you? Was it relatively well treated by medication, and you say, yeah, it was about a 3-week thing or a 6-week thing, and yeah, I recovered rather quickly, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's something to consider. Now, if you say, well, no, I was depressed for a year and a half, and I barely could take care of my kid, well, now that's a different ballgame. So I'm not going to ask you those details, only you know that.
Yeah.
I know you're saying as I get closer in my faith, I want to be more open to life. And there's some complications here. The church certainly would not ask you to just keep taking in kid after kid after kid after kid after kid, no matter what. You can use natural family planning to make decisions overall. However, if you say, yeah, if I have another kid, it's gonna be workload. It's gonna be workload. I'll be tired. We had 6 kids under 6. All right? It was nuts. I didn't go home. I would write my wife letters. I'd send her UPS things. Hope everything's going good for you, honey. Anything I can do? Tell the kids I love them. We had 6 under 6. Yeah, it was kind of nuts. My wife, she raised them beautifully, and the most amazing thing was that I watched and said, "But you're doing fine, honey. I just really love the way you're doing it." But in fact, if you decide you want to do that, you can do it. I think you want the certainty, like my opening monologue was, which is, okay, how do I know how this is going to work out? You don't. You don't. But here's the thing. Here is the thing. You are not totally vulnerable to how it works out. You're there. You can adjust. You can deal with it. You're a smart woman. You can make changes. You can figure it out. You can change the way you think. You can change the way you act. You can become more efficient. You can do all kinds of things. It's not a matter of automatically, if I have a 3rd kid, I'm going to be overloaded. It's not that. The only thing that's automatic is everybody else is going to give you grief. That's what's automatic.
Well, that's tricky because that was the break music at the time of the call. But as I look at the clock right now, I'm going to hit break music in about a minute on this Look Back Friday. So I'm going to comment on some of the questions that Bianca brought up regarding this and things that I would have asked her if she were sitting in my office regarding weighing these decisions. I would say that if you took a poll of 100 modern cultural thinking people, I would suspect 90 of them would say, "What are you doing? You got a 3 and a 1-year-old. It's crazy. You're enough. Let's stop. At least wait till they get a little bit older before you did this." Probably 10 would say, "Well, let's see what God has planned for you." So if you go by the numbers, the consensus is, and by the way, you don't say general consensus because consensus means general opinion, and you don't say general consensus. That would be saying general opinion. The consensus is, Bianca, don't. But Bianca is the one who makes this decision. Now, that's the real life bumper music for this program. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit more about this. I'm Dr. Ray. As the new year approaches, it's the perfect moment to check off a big resolution early and wrap your family in the gift of security. Planning ahead shows your love in a big way, ensuring your wishes shine through no matter what life brings. At mycatholicwill.com/AVE, you can create your will at no cost from the privacy of your home. The process is straightforward. Go to mycatholicwill.com/AVE and prioritize your family's peace of mind.
The wisdom of Mother Angelica.
Have you ever been so grief-stricken and so heartsick that you can't see God? You can't see God in the tragedy. You can't see God in that cross. You can't see God in that sick. Why? You're enveloped in that grief. You're enveloped in fear. And God is out the window. You don't see Him standing right next to you.
EWTN. Live truth. Live Catholic.
Strained or broken relationships are a given in most of our lives. Friends fall away, siblings drift apart, children sever ties with their parents, and despite our best efforts, these painful fissures are difficult to mend. Hi,
I'm Dr. Ray. If you want to learn how to communicate better with the difficult people in your life and be a more easygoing, more forgiving person, check out my book, How to Get Along with Almost Everybody. Check it out. And all my other books on the store page at AveMariaRadio.net. That's AveMariaRadio.net.
Steve and Janet Ray here, announcing we are back in the Holy Land, ready to introduce you to our favorite places in the world, the land where God walked. Mass at the most holy sites, pray the mysteries of the Rosary where they happened, and experience the Bible in vivid color. We have led over 100 groups through this land, sharing the whole story of salvation. Of all the pilgrimages in all of the world, this is the one you should not miss.
Find the Ave Maria Radio travel tab at AveMariaRadio.net.
Thank you for joining me here on The Doctor's In on this Look Back Friday. Okay, just got done with a call from Bianca in California. She has a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and she did have, as she reported, some postpartum depression. And again, not getting into the details of how long, how much, how constricting. She's getting an awful lot of understandable pushback. Basically being told, you're done. Stop it. Don't be dumb. And she says, particularly from her mom. But she says her mom's motive is worry. And that's a common motive when those of you who have gone beyond the culturally allowed 1.86 children, family members are the ones who worry about you and say, I worry about your stress level, I worry about your energy, I worry about your tiredness, I worry about your health, I worry about the demands, etc., etc. I worry about the finances. It sounds like Bianca was thinking, I'm open. I am open to more children. There comes a point, I'd say around 3 to 4 kids, where people just think you're a lost cause. And many moms will tell me that. They'll say, they stopped giving me grief. They tried to stop me back around 2 or 3 kids. If I had more than that, they just shrugged their shoulders and looked at me like I'm an idiot and I'm sucking up the rainforest, and therefore there's nothing to be done about me. Now, in Bianca's situation, she has 2 boys, 3 and a 1. She has a little wiggle room in her motherhood. That being, well, you're trying for your girl, right? I mean, you have 2 boys. Wouldn't you probably would like a girl, correct? This is the one area where you're allowed to have more than 2 kids. That is, if the first 2 are of the same sex, people somewhat allow you. Isn't that interesting, the word allow? They allow you to consider, and not be totally foolish, a 3rd child, because you'd like to have the experience of a boy and a girl. However, if she has a little girl on child number 3, she no longer has excuse or will be given tolerant expectation, because now what are you doing? You got your girl. So shut it down. And one mom told me somebody came up to her when she had a bunch of kids, and it's usually in a grocery store, and it's usually a stranger. Are you going to have any more children? And Mom said, well, not right this moment, which I thought was kind of great. You don't go after veteran moms. They've heard it all. They're pretty quick, and they deal with little ones who are unpredictable, so you can't throw much at them that they're not going to be able to bat away like you're an annoying flea. To get back to something I said before the call, the child rearing specialists, I put that word in quotes, pontificate on about everything. And not unusual in Bianca's situation, they would talk about how long do you wait? If you're going to have another child, if you're that much of a lost cause and you're wanting another child, well, what's the delay time? What is the optimum psychological benefit of spreading out your kids? Now, this is something I got to believe in human history we never speculated on. But what it does do is it does shake up some parents, which is if our children are too close, will they not get the amount of attention that is good for their well-being and development? When we had 6 under 6, we didn't have time to worry about that. We just tried to survive day to day. And the kids got a lot of attention from siblings. I tell you, I talk to a lot of now adult children who say, yeah, I wish I had more brothers and sisters. Because modern psychological notions say the attention component goes from parent to child. Well, it also goes child to child. I said that once to my wife. I said, honey, with this many kids, I can't devote individual time as much as I could if we had 2. And my wife said, Raymond, you big dummy. All right, she didn't say that. But I could tell by her look that's what she was thinking. She said, Ray, that's why they have brothers and sisters. And it's true. Even now, as they're grown and raised, I watch the interaction between the siblings. Which ones are closer to which ones make an extra effort to see which ones are in constant contact. You watch it. You watch the dynamics. They aren't all 10 equally close. Certain ones are closer to certain ones than others. All right? That's the natural course of things. And it had nothing to do with the spacing of their adoption. Because at one point we had 10 under 12. That was it. I paid no taxes. And talk about child tax credits. Man. But then at age 17, they started peeling off. So I kept track of which ones I lost the credit on and stopped giving them birthday money. Dr. Ray.
Life can be overwhelming, leaving you feeling anxious, alone, or even in despair. That's why the nonprofit Revive app was created, to help you navigate the darkness and discover the light. With Revive, confidential conversations with a certified spiritual companion are always just a tap away. And right now, your first 2 sessions are free. Download the Revive app today. That's REVIV and then the number 3. Let them help you find joy in tomorrow.
Do you own popular index mutual funds or ETFs? If so, you're automatically own shares of companies that conflict with your moral beliefs. Ave Maria mutual funds are managed to conform to pro-life and pro-family values. Long-term investors can invest in the no-load Ave Maria mutual funds. The experienced professional portfolio managers make decisions based on investment fundamentals and pro-life values. You can learn more about Ave Maria mutual funds today at 866-AVE-MARIA or visit AveMariaFunds.com.
Ever get asked one of those tough questions like, do Catholics worship Mary? And in that moment, you freeze? Truthfully, the Catholic AI app gives you answers in seconds rooted in scripture, tradition, and the magisterium. Whether you're navigating a tough conversation, deepening your faith, or looking for daily spiritual guidance, Truthfully helps you know, live, and defend the Catholic faith. Truthfully can be found in the Apple App Store or Google Play. That's Truthfully, TRUTHLY.
This program brought to you in part by Ave Maria, Florida, a big kind of small town where golf carts take you everywhere and there's always something fun around the corner. Discover championship golf, resort-style amenities, and a town center full of shopping and dining. With Ave Maria University and Ave Maria Catholic Church at its heart, it's a community full of connection and charm. More than 25 model homes are available for viewing. More information can be found at AveMaria.com. That's AveMaria.com.
Shrink wrap.
Dr. Ray, you're just great.
Ain't sharing no feelings, don't know where you're at. Can't hear what you're saying, just can't go with that. My inner child says he's stunned, My grown-up self says it's a no-brainer, duh. Psycho rap, ain't doing no babble, just can't go with that. Psycho rap, You hear what I'm saying? This ain't no shrink chat. Super ego, id, unconscious for sure. Freudian analysis, $6 grand or more. Head shrinking, mind blowing, brain lock, yes, hypnosis, neurosis, halitosis, Primal scream, very green, bad scene, yeah. Kid's a brat, made him sat, got a swat, wow. Time out, tune in, listen up, yo. Don't blame me if your kid's on the spring show. Psycho rap, ain't doing no babble, just can't go with that. Psycho rap, you hear what I'm saying? This ain't no shrink chat. Pavlov's dogs, does that ring a bell? Repression, depression, who can tell? Psychology, neurology, pathology, what? Therapy, sympathy, apathy, gut. OD, ADD, PhD, I know all the letters of the alphabet. C, PMS, IRS, EIEIO. There ain't no combinations I don't know. Psycho rap, ain't doing no babble, just can't go with that. Psycho rap, you hear what I'm saying? This ain't no shrink chat. Oral stage, anal stage, life stage, yep. Anipus, animus, maximus, stop. Reflect, deflect, reject, where it's at. I'm okay, you're okay, your kid could be a bat. Self-esteem, self-image, self is all. I am me and ego, you all. Assertiveness training, don't get in my way. The only real truth is what I say. Psycho rap, ain't doing no babble, just can't go with that. Psycho rap, you hear what I'm saying? This ain't no shrink chat.
That was a well-plotted piece of non-claptrap that never made me want to retch.
Man, what's gotten into you?
Well, that's certainly an 80s sounding rap. I did write it. There for a while, for some years, I did write a lot of novelty songs, and that was one that just struck me some years ago to put in. I have since re-recorded it. That's an original recording. We re-recorded it for the TV show. Marcus Peter, who many of you know through Ave Maria, was at one time in his former country a rising, rocketing rap star, and he, for the TV show, he did the backdrop, the rhythm of the song, I guess you could call it a song, of the rap. So, given that. Now, I'm looking at the clock here, and I miscalculated. We have another look-back call. It's 6.5 minutes long. And it's one call that has a lot of potential commentary attached to it, added commentary, which simply I can't get to it. So I'd like to revisit the whole obesity epidemic. The percentage, of course, of people that are type 2 diabetes now is off the charts, flat out off the charts. And type 2 diabetes typically will resolve itself with the loss of weight. But that's a double whammy. The diabetes and the obesity and also the fatty liver. Fatty liver is now off the charts. Now fatty liver is up there with alcohol-related liver dysfunction, liver disease. The body is not made to do what we're doing to it. In fact, it causes just multiple health problems in multiple areas. Some cancers are much more likely with overweight. Certain types of kidney cancers, much more likely. I had a dear pastor friend, who was a brilliant guy. Matter of fact, he co-opted with me on a series we did for EWTN some years ago. And he was heavy. He was very heavy. He was probably 300. And I used to get on him. I'd say, "Come on, Father, you got to drop this here. We want you to be around for a long time for us." And he understood that. But interestingly enough, when he was hit with kidney cancer, he thought it was because he had a back problem. He used to ride the bike. He didn't do much walking because he thought he had a back problem. Well, it turns out that back problem was brewing kidney cancer. And by the time it was discovered, it was so far along that within about 6 weeks he had passed away. That's very, very quickly. That's how far along it had gotten before he realized this is something that he better look into. And that particular type of kidney cancer was more common among someone who had a lot of excess weight. He lost a beautiful human being at age 48 because of this. Saw a study from Cleveland Clinic where they were talking about risk factors for health, overall factors for health. And they pointed out obesity ranks right up there with smoking. Interestingly enough, I've also read several places where doctors, general practitioners in particular, GI guys, girls, are not really supposed to talk about a person's weight. Remember, the doctor used to tell you, you gotta lose some weight here. Not allowed anymore. It's like that is against the rules. We have to just be comfortable with who we are. But if someone was doing something devastating to their health, wouldn't you want to say, here's some potential complications of what you're doing? And you can get away with it for a while. You truly can. If you're young, you can get away with it. But I watch folks, say, for example, in the airports, and I watch some of them walk. It's very, very labored walk. And these are young people. These are not someone 76 years old. This is a 30-year-old. And I see this, and I think it at some point they give it up. At some point they just simply say, well, that's the way it is. Now, interestingly enough, there is a kind of turning regarding these weight loss drugs, these injectable weight loss drugs. And I think some of them are pill, too. And some high-profile fitness people, some high-profile doctors, talking about, this might be one considered as an option. I'm not a doctor, so I'm not going to comment on that. But this could be considered as an option, weighing the risk factors involved in being chronically, morbidly overweight. It's for lungs, for coronary artery disease, for joints. I saw a study where they talked about the amount of stress on a knee joint when someone is carrying extra pounds, and it's multiplicative. It isn't linear. It's not like, okay, so you're carrying 40 extra pounds. That's 40 extra pounds of stress. No. It's geometric on stress on your knee joints. And so many people that are carrying extra weight have had knee operations over time. They've had to, because the cushions in the knee are getting worn out much more quickly. So it's just, there's no limit to what can happen. And I think maybe approaching it like our callers did from a health perspective, and I love you so very, very much, and I want to see you here. And if you're a spouse, maybe you can talk to your spouse and say, I want to see you here for the kids. It's Dr. Ray. Got to run. Thanks for joining me here on The Doctor Is In on this Look Back Friday. Walk with God. Maybe that walk will be a little easier.
For information on Dr. Ray's presentations, books, and CDs, visit drray.com and follow him on Facebook and Instagram. The Doctor Is In is a co-production of Ave Maria Radio and EWTN Radio and carried across the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
Now comes another thought from Mother Angelica's perpetual calendar. During Advent, we look for His coming. We say in our hearts, you came for me. You're coming at Christmas time for me, Jesus, because I'm a miserable sinner. You left heaven just for me, a poor sinner. See, God wants you to need Him. Mother Angelica's perpetual calendar features an inspirational message for each day of the year. It's available at EWTNRC.com.
Spreading the good news of salvation.
This is EWTN Radio.
What's stopping you from becoming Catholic? Call to Communion with Dr. David Anders is next on most of these EWTN stations.
EWTN is looking for qualified people to fill a number of exciting positions. Make a difference using your God-given talent. Visit EWTN.com/employment today.
Join us for Christ is Born to Save, featuring the music of the Schola Cantorum of the Dominican Friars in Washington, D.C., Saturday afternoon, 3 Eastern, on EWTN Radio.
St. Augustine gives us tremendous insight as to why we should pray. He says this: why God should ask us to pray when He knows what we need even before we ask Him may perplex us if we do not realize that our Lord and God does not want to know what we want, for as God He cannot fail to already know it. But rather He wants us to exercise our desire through our prayers so that we may be able to receive what He is preparing to give us.
Known as the first media evangelist in U.S. history, Archbishop Fulton J. Sheen was a priest tirelessly pursuing souls for Christ. The spiritual legacy of Archbishop Fulton J. Sheen is a treasury of the servant of God's teachings and reveals the themes that emerge from his 60 years of public speaking and publication. In these pages, EWTN favorite, Father Charles Connor, distills Sheen's sanctity into 10 powerful lessons that provide a roadmap to deeper faith, richer prayer, and a more courageous Catholic life. The Spiritual Legacy of Archbishop Fulton J. Sheen by Father Charles Connor, the latest release from EWTN Publishing. Now available at EWTNRC.com or call our U.S.-based call center at 205-271-2900.
EWTN, helping you prepare your heart for Christ's birth.
This is an EWTN Newslink. I'm Teresa Tomeo from Catholic Connection. A new poll revealing that a majority of Catholic voters in the U.S. support access to in vitro fertilization when initially asked about the topic, but that some are willing to immediately change their minds when informed about the Church's teaching on why it is immoral. The survey released by EWTN News and Real Clear Opinion Research on December 11th, polling 1,000 Catholic voters in the U.S. between November 9th and November 11th, the results demonstrate that just informing Catholic voters about the Church's position on IVF and the immorality of the procedure is sufficient to cause an immediate 14-point shift against IVF in the public opinion of the Catholic faithful. For more news with a Catholic perspective, visit EWTNnews.com. I'm Teresa Tomeo, and Call to Communion with Dr. David Anders starts now.
What's stopping you from becoming a Catholic?
Why can't women become priests?
1-833-288-EWTN.
I don't understand why I have to earn salvation.
1-833-288-3986.
What's stopping?
Why do I need to confess my sins to a priest?
What's stopping you? This is Call to Communion with Dr. David Anders on the EWTN Global Catholic Radio Network.
As we approach the middle of Advent season, welcome again to Call to Communion here on EWTN, the program for our non-Catholic brothers and sisters. Do you have a question about the Catholic faith? You're looking around for an answer. Don't just settle for something you found on the internet someplace. Get the real deal. What does the Catholic actually teach? Here's our phone number, 833-288-EWTN. I recommend you call early. Phones really get clogged up quite early on Fridays, so don't be left out in the cold. 833-288-3986. Outside North America, please dial 1 and then 205-271-2985. All right, and of course you can always send us an email. The address for that, ctc@ewtn.com. All right, we have Pedro Quiles, our producer, Matt Kabinski handling the phone screening, Vanessa Sanchez doing social media. If you'd like to ask a question via YouTube or Facebook, put your question in the chat screen if you would, please, and Vanessa will send that to us here in the studio. I'm Tom Price along with Dr. David Anders.
Tom, how are you today?
I am well. How are you?
I'm doing decent, thanks.
Today is a special day. It was on this day in 1980 that EWTN was founded. On this date, that would have been Mother Angelica, Deacon Bill, the board members at that time
where they actually set up the, whatever that is,